Yo! Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played on Black Forest. Today we've got Maruke playing 11 easy for who knows what reason. And he's going up against, it's not Delivery, it's diWarno playing Donkey Kong, which is also not a particularly fantastic division. But I do think it's better than 11 easy. We will go through the deck reviews, then we'll talk about the map, the matchup, the deployments, and finally the game. And as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so this is diWarno's deck, and he's playing Donkey Kong. We've had a few Donkey Kong games on the channel recently, so, you know, we've done a few deck reviews for this, so this won't take too long, but we'll go through it tab by tab. So, first thing, 2 cards of supply, and they're both the cheaper ones, so 25 points for 500 supply. What you can do to save a bit of cash, and to not have 24 of these around, is swap this one out for this one. This is 1500 points, 1500 supply for 55 points. All cards have 6000 supply. And then basically these go to the front line, and then you have these a little bit further back to just replenish the stuff on the front line. Or one of these can follow your artillery around, and that way you don't have 24 of these that you've got to micromanage, and you see that, you know, 50 points for 1000, whereas this is 55 for 1500. You do get your money back when you sell it, but that's a lot of opportunity cost there. In terms of the CVs, this one's 3 per card, but not forward deploy and wield. And given that this CV is not forward deployed, makes sense to have a forward deployed CV, right? So you can pay 15 points more for this one. I'm not sure why it is 15 more, but yeah, it's got more armor and more HP, and one more availability is actually very important, depending on. Okay, so you've still got 3 CV cards, so it's fine. You've got 6 CVs anyway. So yeah, it's good to have a forward deployed CV on an Airborne div. That's sort of the whole point. And yeah, this is slow and tracked, can be useful for putting with your arty and stuff, and this is wheeled and 3 availability, but then you wouldn't have a forward deployed CV. So the alternative you can do is swap this guy out for a forward deployed CV here, like this one, for example, or this one, which is very expensive. You'd be paying 120 for that. And then you could swap this out for this, and you'd have an extra CV. But you've got 6 CVs anyway, so I'm not sure it really matters. In terms of the CVs in this tab, so the Komar is bugged. Somebody told me it wasn't bugged anymore. I'm pretty sure it still is, but maybe I am wrong. And basically, it one-shots 2 armor at the front, or at least it used to. So this it would one-shot, even though something with higher pen wouldn't. So something with 13 pen wouldn't, because you should need 16 pen to one-shot 2 front armor with heat. But these were one-shot in 2 front armor. I don't know if they fixed it. Anyway, so then you've got Commandozi. So these are, you know, forward deployed special forces. Max Vet, because you still get 4. This isn't a special forces transport, so they don't go any faster. But yeah, very powerful squad with the 3 machine guns at Max Vet. And an RPG. Polish anti-tank is not very good. The best is like 14 AP. I think there might be one team that has 18 or something. Yeah, it's these guys. Got 18. Then we've got some Spadochroniazi who have DMRs. So basically, these guys, 3 machine guns is like 6 rifles. So that's 12 strength, 12 shooty power. Whereas an SVD is like 2 machine guns. The machine gun is like 2 rifles, right? So this is like 3 machine guns, which is 6 rifles. 6 plus 7 is the 12. Quick maths. No, hang on, it is... What? 6 plus 7 is 13, yeah. So these shoot with the strength of 13 men. These shoot with the strength of 12 men. This costs 5 points more, but it comes with 3 additional availability, which is very important because it means you can actually bring it at like 2 vet for the same availability, which is what he's done here. I really do like Nevsky Beretti. I think it's a really strong squad because it's got Resolute as well, which is important. And it's got 12 strength. And, you know, having high shooty power is good and all, but just like, so you would say that this is only shooting with the strength of 14 men for a lot more points, but actually, but it's got 12 HP, so it is a good squad in that regard. It's tankier, so it'll tend to outlast the opponent. So yeah, I do like those, and there is a card here. For some reason, he's brought it in the Topaz 2A, which is 15 points for something that doesn't have smoke and is very slow. If it had smoke, I'd like it, but it's not even a HMG or anything, so I'd bring it in the truck, really. I don't really think it's very good. And then, yeah, so we've got a Metis squad, 17 pen, 1 shots 3 armor, heat. And then an anti-tank squad, which is useful in the forests and stuff. It is useful to have those. And then we've got 2 cards of sappers. So these sappers are really cool because they've got resolute, they've got satchels, and they've got an AT. The alternative is you spend 5 points more and get less availability on, so 1 fewer, on 3 flamethrowers, and no AT, which honestly I just don't think it's that good. Like, if you can get them into a position where they can shoot, they are pretty much uncontested, but if you're against an RPO, you lose because you take ages to aim and he doesn't. And if you're more than 350 meters away, you lose. And if you go to low cohesion, which you'll struggle to do with having Resolute and 2-vet, you'll struggle there as well. So I don't really think the triple flamethrower is that incredible, to tell you the truth. It's good on paper, but flamethrowers in general in this game just aren't very good. And then some ATGM. So what I will say is this div really struggles against armor, so you want as many ATGMs as possible, and there's only 2 ATGM cards in here. And you've got a lot of infantry, and a lot of it is at 2-vet and so on, so what you could do is like down-vet that, get rid of that. So you've now lost 2 sappers, down-vet that, get rid of that. Now you can afford to bring an additional ATGM, and you can bring it in this, which fires 2 SPG-9s at once. It's got bad stealth, but it can be pretty cool if you can get it into a good spot. You don't have to, but it's worth a try. And then now you've got ATGMs, and these are really useful at the start, because they're you can even 2-vet them if you really want, but I don't think there's much point. Because, they're going to miss anyway, but... these are really, really useful at the start. You just put 1 on every road, and then you shoot the enemy forward deployment coming the other way, because he's in a car and you're in a SPG-9, and this goes at 100, and you'll note that your other forward deployed stuff is actually going at 90. So this will actually be, this will actually get there first, ahead of your other guys. And if the enemy forward deployment's in a little car as well, they'll get there at 100, so you need something that can fight them. And just shoot them while they're in the transport, force them to unload, right? Shoot the SAS or whatever, force them to unload, give you guys a chance to get in. So I think these are really useful at the start. And if you find you're not bringing 8 of them, you might as well upvet it. But because they've got good stealth, they remain useful later. You can just constantly send them around the sides and stuff. Really useful unit. RT tab, so double pion and then the whip. So the deal with the whip is that this actually shoots smoke as well. And it reloads in 60, it shoots once every minute, and the supply cost per rocket is the same as the grad, and you see that this shoots every 2.5 minutes or what have you, like literally shooting every 2.5 minutes, whereas this is shooting every minute, and you get 4 of them, so you buy them all, and then you just use all 4 of them like a grad. It's high micro, because you got to constantly move them, you got to keep all the vehicles around, you got to move them, you got to resupply them, drains your supply a lot, so only having 2 cards of supply with 2 pions and a whip is actually, like, you're going to run out of supply. At least you should be, if you're using all this. Because look, this is using, this is using 320 supply every 4 minutes or whatever. Every 160 seconds, roughly. No, salvo length 2. So that needs to fire 4 times. So it'd be like every 5 minutes, something like that. It's using 320 supply. So every 5 minutes you're using... Well, okay. But yeah, these will drain your supply really, really quick. So you need a 3rd card of supply if you want to use these. And they shoot the smoke. They shoot smoke, and one of them can keep a constant patch of smoke going because of how long it takes to reload and how long the smoke lasts. You can actually keep a constant patch of smoke going, so you don't need a mortar for smoke. This is your mortar for smoke. So I really like them. I think they're really good, but they are high micro, and we should try and find a third supply card for you somewhere, because if you want to use these, they will drain all your supply. Tanks. So, yeah, there's tank CV here, 2 availability. It used to be 3 on this, and it got put down to 2, so it's not as useful as it used to be, but it is a CV with 2 availability. Thing is, like, that this is a 3-pointer, and this is a 3-pointer, so what you can do if you need more CVs is just bring this instead, and then it costs the same, but this is armoured, right? It's got a different role. It can survive a bit more artillery and stuff, but it is quite slow. And then we've got T-55As, which are kind of OP now because their ROF went up to 9. And so, you get 6 of them and they've got 9 ROF. They shoot faster than Chief. It's 8 base, but it goes up to 9 at 1 vet, so it's very, very powerful. And then this is the coffin launcher, another supply drain, but this is really useful at clearing out entrenched positions. It goes... It's really cool. And then some ATGMs, Maruke P. I literally, when I run this div, I have 4 cards of ATGMs, but you can probably get away with 3. 2 is not enough, because you don't get any... You'll notice there's no conkers. You'll notice that there's no conkers here anywhere. So, like, that you've got 1 Kokon somewhere, which you've actually chosen not to bring. So you're going to struggle against heavy armor. Recon, so these guys are ground surveillance radar, 6 men, 60 points. This isn't a special forces transport, so there's no point up vetting them. They won't get there any faster. Then you've got the DMR squad, which you just don't need, really. I think this is a big waste. 6 men, okay. So yeah, like, what do you need this for? To shoot them with an 850 meter range DMR? I'm not so convinced. And then these guys, the advantage of these guys is that they're airborne forward deployed, and you can bring them in a pretty fast helicopter. So you can do a heli rush with airborne forward deployed, and you can get to places really fast. That's the advantage of them, so don't bring them in the truck. If you need truck recon, you've got these guys, 6 strength with a good RPG, and obviously the rack is not great, but ground surveillance radar, special forces, etc. Then we've saved you 2 AP, which is still not enough to get this supply tab, but what you can do is you can bring this instead. It's got good optics, right? Oh, it's a shame this is 3 as well. You sort of get shafted on this division with the slots. Like, you really do. AA, so this is another heavy point cost thing, right? Anyway, these are really good against infantry. That's why you bring them. They're anti-infantry. And then Strellas. So he's brought the forward deployed Strellas. Presumably to protect his forward deployment. If you need to protect your forward deployment, you can use this, because this is airborne forward deployed in a car. So if you're like really worried about enemy helicopters, you use this, but you should be opening fighter anyway. So so yeah, you don't like between these two. This one's resolute. I suppose the availability is the same, right? The advantage of this one is that it comes in the Topaz Jod, which has additional Strellas and a gun on it, which is actually quite useful. So you can get rid of that and bring this, and you want 10 of them because these are good against infantry as well. This is your Proto-IFV, shoots infantry, and it's got anti-air capability. And yeah, if you need forward deployed AA to protect you from helicopters, you just use this. It is 90 instead of 100, but this is just going to miss, and the enemy helicopter's going to kill it anyway, so might as well bring something that might work. Helo tab, so like this is your only Kokons. I appreciate that Phalangers are 20 pen now as well, because Pact isn't allowed to have bad equipment, and their accuracies went up. It used to be 45, now it's 50. Ooh. Anyway, Broken Arrow's coming out soon, so I can complain about that instead. But yeah, you need the Kokons. These, I personally think, are absolutely trash. The Strela does 4 damage, so you need 3 hits to take out a plane anyway. So I'd be getting rid of that and putting this in. And yeah, I'd be probably getting rid of this as well. And now you've got 4 AP. And now you can get your 3rd card of supply. And it can be this one if you want. I suppose you don't have it, like, this is not a great ground-based supply, and this is a helo, can be kind of difficult to use. I mean, you can put this in instead of that 25 pointer if you want, because you've already got your frontline cheap and cheerful supply. And then your 1 AP slot, you just sort of sack it off, basically, and accept it. Then in the air tab, right, so Seed, Cluster, AT, and then Rocket. So these are all good planes. The issue you're going to have is that you've only got 4 fighters and your AA is really bad. It's really not good. So what you can do is you can get rid of a Pion and you can bring that third card. Or you could accept that you have no supply, barely use this, and then get rid of this and bring that third fighter card. I always run this with 3 fighters. The MiG-29 is basically the best fighter in the game. Most cost-efficient fighter in the game. 220 points for the best long-range missiles, excluding the MiG-31 things, and the best short-range missiles. Better than anything NATO gets, this. Better than anything NATO gets. This game is hilariously retarded when it comes to these things. And then there's always one guy in my comments who says, actually, after the Cold War, it turns out this was a good missile. Yeah, on pilots who barely trained, etc., etc. But anyway, so yeah, Seed, Cluster AT, that's fair enough, really. You only get 1 AT card. And then the rocket plane for shooting infantry, I actually do without, because you've got a load of helicopters, so... But it is very useful, right? It's just the slot costs, so that could be your third card of supply. Alternatively, you know, you could get rid of one of these and have your third card of supply. Or you could get rid of a bit more infantry and have your third card of supply, but at that point, like, we've already removed quite a bit of infantry. I do think you need the 2 cards of ATGMs. Anyway, I'm just giving you some ideas. Then we've got Maruke playing 11E. Who knows why? And going to this tab by tab, so only 1 card of supply. You're really going to struggle late game. You don't have much artillery, if any. You've only got some self-propelled mortars here. And, like, what the hell is this deck? I mean, this just basically just isn't how I would build it at all. So you've not really got a lot of infantry. You're going to run out of infantry very fast. You're going to, like, run out of supply very fast. I mean, like, where do I even start with this? So, I mean, I might as well just show you my deck, because this is so different to how I build it that there's not really much point in trying to sort of change it, because it's just completely different. So, the way I build 11E, which I haven't played in a while, right, is 3 cards of supply, although you could probably get rid of one of these, because you don't have that many tanks, you don't have that much artillery. I use these for smoke, because, well, I don't know why, that's a bad idea, really. Just sort of put up with the fact that you've not got good artillery. It's just not a good div, really. You should play something else. Anyway, so now we've saved 3 AP, and that could go here. This shouldn't be that. This should be that. And then, yeah, it's like 4 forward deployed CVs. Blimey, I'm out of practice on this div, aren't I? Oh, we don't have any other choices. They're all forward deployed. It's just 30 people. It's got 3 people. Okay. This is where I'd be putting it, I think. Well, do you really need that? Get another plane. This is just such a bad div. Just play something else, yeah. Anyway, this one goes faster than that one, so you want that one. And we've got a recon helo. These fire smoke now, which might be useful, so there you go. Instead of that third card of supply. VBL Rico, there used to be a strat where you just run these at people with the 50 cal. But it got nerfed a lot, so I'm not sure how useful it is anymore. Just don't play this div. That's my deck advice. Oh, I didn't save it. Well, I'm mega spesh today. It's just looking at this div upsets me. There's one guy who plays it a lot. He's called Gnef. And it used to be that whenever I faced him, I would lose. And then the div got nerfed, and now whenever I face him, it's basically a free win. There's not really much he can do. The div is just not good. So yeah, we got some minstrels there. And like, you know, these, I've seen people use these, but I just don't really think they're very good. And then like you might kill one plane with all three of these, and then that's a cost efficient trade because it's 180 points. Except he gets 2 planes per card, and this is a 3 point slot, so it's just not worth it. Anyway, these go at 100, so they're better. And yeah, VBL Milan's not so bad. I was going for this because it's got smoke, so you can shoot smoke at people now. That's a pretty interesting idea. But yeah, the div is just kind of ass. Don't play this div. That's my advice to you. That's my deck build. Especially if you're gonna play it like this, like you don't have enough supply. You need at least 2 cards. You don't have enough infantry. You're gonna run out of infantry basically straight away. Don't bother bringing these. They're just bad Paras Marine. 50 cals aren't as good as MMGs anymore. Self-propelled mortar for smoke makes sense. This has mediocre stealth, whereas this has good stealth, so you want this one. And yeah, this is like this is just massive overinvestment here, so you get rid of some of this so that you can bring, like, do you need 7 recon helos? Do you need all this recon stuff here? Get rid of some of this so you can bring your additional infantry. These are 1 point slots. So if you were to get rid of this, for example, now you can fill 3 more slots here. So, you know, and Sapper's Flam aren't that great anymore, but you do you. Group anti-char can be useful. Paras Marine are better than Legionnaire's Paras for the same price because of the DMR, and they've got more availability. It's just like the Resolute doesn't outtrade the DMR. DMR is too powerful, and yeah, like, what can I say? You don't need both of these. You've got Gazelle cannons here, so you can get rid of that one. Now you've got another 3 points. Now you can get some more infantry. What about some Helo-born infantry? That might help you at certain points in the game. And then it's like the Pamela I don't really like. It's just like a slow-firing minstrel on a stick. But oh no, they changed it so it fires at the regular rate now. But even so, dies really easily to enemy helos and stuff. And with your remaining 2 points, you know, you could get some more Gazelle cannons or some Puma pirates, or some of these aren't so bad because they got 6 HP. They survive a manpad hit, so they can be alright. And I'd be upvetting these because you want to send a couple out at the start, and at 2-vet they really shred things. But yeah, it's just not a good div. That's my advice to you. Let's go to the game. I'm sorry that one was a bit weird, but what can I say? The div's just really, really not great. You just shouldn't be playing it. Right, so with that out of the way, let's talk a bit about the map. Black Forest, basically, blue's on the good side here because blue can rush Boris and get in Boris, like here, at the same time red gets to about here. So he gets the first couple buildings, which is not great for red. If you're an armored div, you'd prefer to be on red side because even though you lose Boris at the start, then you can attack Fedor. Fedor is the zone blue gets preferential access to, whereas center is the zone red gets preferential access to, and attacking Fedor is a lot easier than attacking center. Having said that, I've not actually tried to attack center that many times. It's just kind of hard because there's a gap here, and then you come up here, and then you immediately start taking ATGMs from this building, and you can't see who's shooting you, and you're caught out in the open, and they can put guys here and shoot you in the sides, right? If you're coming up here, they can sort of shoot you in the sides and stuff, whereas shoot you in the shides. And so yeah, it's easier to attack Fedor, but in this configuration, with it being Airborne versus Airborne, Red's pushing capacity is really not that great as an Airborne div, so you'd prefer to be on Blue's side, where you can just get in Boris at the start and just use that in Airborne versus Airborne. But yeah, if you're armored, you want to be on the red side. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, talking about the matchup, neither of these divisions are particularly good. I personally prefer Donkey Kong, especially with T-55s being buffed with their ROF in the last patch. They're really strong now, and they get T-55s. The only issue is the slot costs on your div are quite expensive, but you've got good RT. Like, you've got a better late game than Blue does, because you've got RT and you've got T-55s, whereas Blue is like basically the most airborne division. Its early game is probably the best out of any Airborne div. Might be out of any div, actually, with the self-propelled mortars for smoke, if you can use them properly. Which he has brought. And also one of your vehicles shoots smoke. But then the fall off of 11E is insane. You just don't have that much open ground stuff, and the open ground stuff you do get is overpriced, so you just die. Uh, so that's not fantastic, right? Um, so yeah, I'd prefer to be in Blue's position, but I'd prefer to be Red's division. So that makes for an interesting matchup. Let's talk about the deployments. We've got Maruke here, and he is attacking center with a Sapper's Flam, two VLRA 20s, which I guess can shoot whoever gets up here, an AML 90s actually not going there. Okay, so he's attacking without recon, so he won't be able to see whoever's up here. And a CV for Anna. And then in mid, we've got Chassa's Paras going to here, which is a weird place to put them, really. You'd want them fighting in the buildings. VLRA 20 for shooting the guys in the buildings, I guess. A Pamela for shooting helicopters, I suppose. Paras Eclairs just to scout here, and then the unit's being sent a bit further along, and then Paras SAS. So he's not actually going in the zone at the start, even though he would get there first. But he would get to the edge of it. And then for the right, we've got another VLRA 20, another Pamela, and another SAS, and the SAS is unloading here, and he's going this way, so he likely gets spotted, as opposed to going this way, which I don't know how you control, really. I think you'd have to manually path it here, and then send it up here. Then we've got three saggy recons going to just sort of nowhere in particular. This can't shoot anywhere. If you put it here, it can shoot down the road, which is really useful. Four, actually, wow. Yeah, one there, one there, one there. So really interesting deployment. The CV for Lane of Fedor. And a really interesting deck, as we spoke about in the deck review. diWarno here's got a more sort of normal deck build and a more sort of normal deployment. So he is running into Boris with an ATG. Okay, so the ATGM's going there. Commandozy to this building. Commandozy to this building. Two AA guns for shooting infantry. So that's all sensible. And then a GSR recon going straight up to there. So we'll see how far he gets. And then one going to here. And then a WD-40 CV for Dmitry Boris. On the right of the left, we've got a Metis squad and another recon. The Metis squad won't actually be able to shoot the guys over here, which is sort of what you want this position for. So you could put a diversity there. Diversity ATGM there instead. And then this recon could go like there, and just in case they come down here. Because obviously the Metis is going to stop people coming down here, but it's not going to sort this out. So just a different way of doing things. I'm here to give ideas. And then two T-55s. One there. Which really, you'd want these looking down this road so they can shoot them as they come in. Well, okay, it's going to get there second anyway. But yeah, you at least want it here so it can shoot. Otherwise, it's not really doing anything for you here. That's the supply anyway, I'm regarded. And then, yeah, T-55A here, which still can't shoot over here because it's 1925. But yeah, I suppose it can go forwards and then shoot, I suppose. And then, yeah, T-55A there. Coffin launcher can be useful here. Instead of those two T-55As, you can get a coffin launcher, which is still a T-55, but you can also just sit behind here, and if he's in this building, you just go, and he's gone now, so really useful. Or you can just buy that a bit later. Then we've got an AT squad going all the way over here, so if he is actually protecting this road, you would die here, because he would be here, so you got to unload like here and then run across, or go from here to there. Coming down here is risky. We know he's not actually sent anybody there, but then we've got an AT squad for over here. Alright. And then, because yeah, if he's coming down here, he's going to see you about here, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Then we've got an AA gun for anti-infantry, at which point it should be here, really, if you want to shoot infantry over here. A DMR, called a sniper, and then another recon squad, and then another recon squad, so that's all good. And then Berettis and a Maruke going on the right, but it's been fast path, not attack path. So when it runs into this thing, it's not going to stop and shoot, and it's just going to get shot. I've not seen the game, but that's my assumption. Anyways, let's watch the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners generously joining the channel. They get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. One join at the lowest level is worth 2,000 views, so if you're feeling bad about your ad block, it's a great way to support the channel. I do appreciate it. If you don't want to do that, please just like the videos, it's free, right? This is my sole source of income, so any help is appreciated. I'm trying to finish off a full-time PhD. It's taken the piss, really. My funding ran out because I took too long. A lot of that is my fault. A lot of that is because I was trying to grow this channel, right? Yeah, anyway, this shouldn't be in a Topaz 2A. I did speak about that in the deck review, which you didn't skip. But no, I just appreciate you watching the videos. You know, I was a nobody, and now I'm somebody in a niche French strategy game title. Wow. See, I really don't agree with these Topaz 2As. I don't really think it's adding anything for you except making your reinforcements get there slower. Killing your momentum for what? It's got 2 armor, but it's got an MMG and it's very slow. It's got no smoke. So yeah, as you can see, this would have got there before this did. Or they would have got there at about the same time, at which point the Paris SAS would just kill him. So it's got the satchels, and yeah, there's one of the Specialny guys didn't make it there. He's getting hit by the VLRA 20s, and the Papank had to unload too. So yeah, if this was here, it'd be shooting back, and with it being ground based. Anyway, so yeah, this should be dying, but actually it's living. I'm not so sure about that. So he just pathed this over there, and then forgot to check which way it was going, so it just drove into the enemy and died. This guy didn't make it very far, which you'd expect, really. So, like, here's a safer bet, because you can always retreat back here. The ATGM is going in on the CV there. So we might see... okay, I mean, he could have smoked, or he could just get lucky, I suppose, like the Daft Punk song. The Saggy's really laying into these guys. They've got quite a high fire rate, and you see the ZU on the other side just deleting that infantry. But yeah, this Paris SAS should have been in here, really. Maruke P goes down to the AML, as we called it. And blue's on a +1 because red sort of wasted his CV. So these rocket planes, yeah, you can buy them at the start of one of them, and you know, it reloads in 16 seconds. I mean, it tends to take a bit longer because the fuel. But yeah, there you go, and then you just evac it. You don't bother coming around for another pass. Just evac that there, and then get it reloaded and repairing now. And the VLRA 20s, yeah, one died here. The Commandozi died, or whatever it was. And the T-55 should really shred this. It's just he needs recon, which he has, so you can just bring this up and shoot him. But anyway, this has been forced to fall back because of the Paris SAS there. VLRA 20 going around the sides, and see another VLRA 20, because the ground one is superior to the car one, because the ground one is classed as an infantry unit, so it's 4 times tankier, basically. As a car one would die in 1 hit to a tank round, the infantry one takes 4, so... that's life. Sapper's Flam, not making it against the guys in the buildings. It was just sort of a lethargic attack there. If you're going to do that, you'd have to put way more there and potentially sacrifice attacking here. So this is now going for all the helis, and it's doing some missing there. I mean, really, it should have evac'd a long time ago. The main advantage of it is that it reloads quickly, and when you keep it around and it's using all the fuel, it's not going to reload quickly. And now that it's damaged, we're not going to see that for about 4 minutes. And it could literally have come back in half a minute. Anyway, we've got the engine destroyed on this towed vehicle here. This is a towed vehicle, and its engine has been destroyed, apparently. It's alright, the game's only been out for 3.5 years. I'm sure they'll fix it eventually. Has a backup CV been purchased here? No, okay. So, just going for the fighting and trying to win late, I suppose. And yeah, the T-55A, as you can see, is just cleaning all this up. You know, this costs way more, and it's just way worse, basically. So, I mean, this shoots further, but I believe at max range, it can't actually shoot this. I mean, they're not at max range. But yeah, 1 hit, and then it'll... yeah, exactly. Whereas the T-55 can survive hits. AT plane purchased now. And yeah, he's losing some guys to just sort of not paying attention. Like, if he just unloaded this, this would all be fine. Guess that, though. And another advantage of these is that they reload, so that would reload in 30 seconds because it's only fired 1 missile. Saggy's going down there. It's still not, like, all you had to do was really just unload this on the spot and it would have just shot it, but, like, right on top of it. There we go, he got it. He didn't actually lose anything there, so that's all good. AML 90, so really, I mean, getting it around here is really good. And what you can do is you can put it there and shoot all the reinforcements coming in, right? Or you can put it here, but it would die straight away, right? And just sort of pathing it in the road is just going to get it spotted and killed. Like, if this had been bought a few seconds later, would have just come down here and just on its normal order would have just killed it. So it's worth keeping in mind. Anyway, I don't know if this is the next rocket plane or the last rocket plane. I think it's another rocket plane. He's going for the propeller, which is very intelligent because he's got to save his hind there. But he's not fast enough. Okay, the propeller misses with its 3 veterancy. Well, it happens, I suppose. Yeah, that definitely would have died there because it's got 5 HP and that deals 5 damage. So a little bit of good luck there, but really, I mean, he needs a CV here. The AML 90, okay, so will it aim in time? That's my question. Because it's gonna see them here. So it's gonna start aiming and then they're gonna leave its range, so yeah, so it's not gonna shoot them. Yeah, now it's switched. Oh, it might get this one. Okay. So because then that time it was already facing that way, it didn't have to turn, so it aimed a little bit faster. Anyway, it misses. Topaz 2A goes down there, a really useful piece of kit. And we see the power of the Celtics here. See that, so they actually can shoot things, but generally just Red just being very wasteful with his air. You got to be careful with that. I mean, you're not against a heavy tank div here, but if you were, that air late game is basically your only way to kill those tanks, because you can't use the the ATGMs will stun it, but they won't kill it. Anyway, the Celtics just ran up to that hind and shot it, so you got to pay a bit more attention, really. A lot of it just comes from practice. But yeah, if there's 2 AA helos running towards you, and you know they're the AA ones because of this like little plane thing here. It's like a plane in some sites. But yeah, the AML's killing a lot of stuff here, and there hasn't been any noticing yet. So, you know, he's got one there, and so he's actually moved it up now. So he got somebody here as well. So that AML's getting a lot of kills, Mr. Perrier. The disadvantage, of course, is so okay, MiG-29 goes down to Mirage. You wouldn't really expect that, but with all the AA, maybe the AA played a part there. Yeah, Celtic went down, so yeah, it must have done. The T-55 will just kill this because of its armor and so on. So you got to be hiding, right? You got to be hiding and try to max range them, basically. So like, here's a good spot. Is it? You want to shoot them in the back, basically. If you can get over to here, that's a decent spot, I suppose. I don't know. Like, where he is not so bad, but you probably are going to get spotted and killed. As you can see, once this gets close enough, even though it's got mediocre optics, it is just going to see it, because it's shooting at it. Got to get quite close, right? I mean, there you go, see, it's noticed now. And now he's going to die. What? That's an attack move order, so how's it... Why isn't it stopped? So that got shot in the back there and it survived it. That's an attack move order. Why isn't it stopping? Right, well, don't worry. Yeah, the game's not been out for that long. So... Yeah, anyway, so somehow it's working out for Blue over here. It's got a lot to do with Red just kind of not paying attention. Bought way too many planes. Didn't shore up his positions enough on the ground with ground units. Never bought a CV for over here. And isn't noticing that this guy is just killing all his guys. So he's going to run out of ammo. I mean, it's ridiculous. So yeah, a lot of it just comes from practice. But, you know, if you've got your sound on, if anybody's taking damage, they'll start saying, "Ah, give me a morphium." And then once you play enough, you know what unit makes that sound. And then you're like, where's that unit? Oh, back here. Okay. Also, it comes up here saying, you know, X is under attack. And you can just click on it and it'll show you. I suppose... No. Figured this might be going for that. But, yeah, I don't know. It's going to run out of ammo now. So there you go. Problem solved. And yeah, still not bought a CV on this side, so Blue with the advantage. Yeah, wait. So, you know, that is going to happen. You got to be careful with your planes and stuff. This is why overinvestment in planes doesn't work, because the enemy starts buying AA and then all your planes become useless. So yeah, that's not fantastic. And the seed that he's got in his deck isn't useful in this matchup. Obviously, if you're just going into ranked, you don't know what to bring. Looks like both CV... Oh yeah, the CV here, blue CV died, but red doesn't actually have a CV. Anyway, so you know, a mortar for smoke, very useful tool, and we know blue's got him. And then he can just mortar this, and then you know put the sappers, get the sappers flam in these buildings, and just have the CV back here somewhere. Red doesn't have like an ATGM here, so we can't actually shoot down this gap, like, which is, you really want that there. It's very, very useful. So Gazelle Cannon goes down there to the Strela, which is now max vet from that kill. This guy's literally ran out of bullets, and there's still no CV. Okay, there we go. So that tick should slow down, but there's no CV here now, so yeah. Blue making the executive decision to not sell his transports there, so that's you know, 60 points just on the board, 80 points there that he could have. That's one more infantry unit, so it's worth thinking about. Anyway, so he needs to go this way. He needs to make sure he goes this way, but like, he knows that there's AA there because it shot him before, so you shouldn't really just keep sending the planes into the AA unless your intention is to kill the AA, which makes sense, right? But I mean, he's probably going to lose this one, yeah, because like that fighter was out, so you don't, you know, if the fighter's out, you don't just dive the fighter with a single AT plane. So yeah, no, this is probably going to die as well. Yeah, I mean, these are, you know, they've got 75% accuracy, so yeah, blue getting back in here, and red just over investing in planes. He has got the coffin launcher now though, so that's going to be cool to see him clear this out with the coffin launcher, hopefully. And yeah, he's just not got any ground-based AA, because you got to rely on your fighters with this div, and the MiG-29 eats this thing for breakfast. This thing literally costs more, and it's just worse. Worse short range, worse long range. It's just, it's got 10% more ECM, which doesn't really matter. And the guns are better. So there we go. And there you go, he takes out the CV there. So, you know, blue might run out of CVs, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember if he's got infantry CVs. I know he's got this, and he's got the saggy one. So that's at least 5. We've seen 2 die. No, we've seen 3 die. So 1 died right at the start here, and then 1 died a little bit later. And there you go. So the T-55s, they do win. And, you know, this, you got to really keep this safe, because you've only got 2 of these, and the main advantage is the coffin launchering. It just duels that ATGM there. And goes down. So yeah, you can put a Milan 2 in like this building, and then they can shoot down there. I think it's that one. Oh yeah, you can have it there. Gazelle Cannon just shredding these guys. Although it probably will die to ROSP. So MiG-29 getting dueled. I mean, so what you can do here is switch off the auto cell on these. I'll just worry about that later and just unload them all, and then they'll all start shooting this. And then you can load them back up and send them, but, you know, given their straddles, they probably wouldn't have killed it anyway. So, that doesn't drop its bombs because of the weird LOS problems. This guy is on 2 HP, so he's getting pulled back there. Okay, no, he's just being... I think he accidentally right-clicked this instead of this building. And, yeah, it's really not looking good for red. He just bought way too many aircraft, and you know, just made some poor micro decisions. So like sending 1 of these out against 3 of these is not smart. And then you know, I mean, it should be dead really, but it gets away with it. And like, you want to send them both out at once if you're going to do that. Or you know, if you make sure you've got loads of AA here, and then you fight over your AA, and your AA should do something. So Gazelle Cannon goes down to the MiG-29 there. And yeah, for blue's part, you know, he needs a bit more AA, really. The AA is being taken out. Just sort of flying over that. So, red's going to stop the tick now with this. And he did get a CV over here. Jaguar HE's back from last time. There is a bit more AA here, but they're just Strelas. And the fighter just went down because it got hit, right? So, the way you want to play this div is to always have Red's div, DK, is to always have a fighter up back here. And then, you know, once it happens, you can send it in. You need air superiority with fighters because your ground-based AA is trash. Like, the Strela is just not... Like, this is literally max vet, and it's got 50% accuracy. 2475, 2125. This is at 2 vet, 70% accuracy. 2825, 2475. Struggling to read out numbers here. You can see it's just better, and it also deals more damage. Which means that this would 2-shot a plane, whereas this would 3-shot a plane. It's a lot cheaper, right? That's the trade-off, but manpads are basically the only place where NATO has an advantage in this game. Everything else is packed advantage when it comes to like classes of units. Anyway, he's getting a bit greedy here. If he just ran up to these, he could have capped them. Jaguar HE got a T-55 by the looks of things. And yeah, so what you do is you leave the fighter out and you leave it back here, because you've got longer range missiles than him. And so, you know, I think it's a good idea to do that. So, this thing is just shooting its amphi now. He's still not noticed this. It comes up here, you know, when stuff dies. Like he's losing... That's a pretty useful unit. Okay, that got out. This has just been sat here shooting everybody. But yeah, this is how you play Airborne. You should be doing this. Like, I like this from Red. He's cut this off, and then what that means is now he can start attacking the town, which is where he's going to be strongest anyway. So you've cut this off. What you want to do next is get some AA up here, because this is anti-vehicle. Great, but then he'll send a helicopter or a plane, so you need some AA up here. And then you can storm down this road, and they might be here shooting you, so you got to smoke it or whatever, but... Basically, you want to surprise them. You don't want to drip feed units in there. You build it all up back here, and then you like fling a recon healer over it, and then you send everybody in immediately so that he doesn't have time to react. Here we go. He's finally noticed this. Yeah, so it fires all 40 of its rockets and fails to kill the one armor unit because dumbfire rockets aren't that great. Specifically against vehicles, they're kind of bad. Anyway, he's trying to use his gun. What he needs to do is just like... Okay, it stopped. Well, he could have like right-clicked over here, and then it would have been in range for a long time, because if he's just running away, it kept stop, start, stop, start. It's like that tortoise and the hare thing. Anyway, Blue has managed to lose all his units here, and has now switched into 50 cals, so... You know, good job on Red for pushing him back. And you see the power of these teeth... I'm not so sure about that. This is why you need an ATGM here. So he's got a vehicle, but this should be at range. The whole point is that it should be at range. So just driving up to there is not good, because now you're in tank gun range. The Commandozi, he's just selected a bunch of things and just right-click this. So he's losing guys because he's just sort of running out of his positions to try and kill this. Like this, you know, this it's not in the zone, so you can kill it later. Yeah, he's still getting bullied in the air by mirages, which is pretty funny. So yeah, the T-55s are really swinging it. They're being microed in a sort of weird way, but the T-55s are very, very strong. And you see these ATGMs one-shot these, so there it goes. You got to be really on point with your smoke if you're playing 11E, because those vehicles, they all get one-shot, so you need to smoke. Which means you need to micro a lot. I've got a couple games against the best 11E player. Maybe I should go back and cast them. They're on this patch. It just happened like a week ago, a couple weeks ago. I should probably go back and cast them, but, I mean, the div is just kind of bad, right? I mean, the guy I was playing against could have done some things better, in my opinion, but he plays it more than anybody else. And both times it was just the same thing. He had me in the early game, and I just didn't panic, and then I just won. What I will say is that these two seem evenly matched on the micro and so on. We're seeing some infantry cycling here, which is very powerful. He's cycling his infantry there, they're not just dying. You love to see it. And yeah, so these, I mean, if you send one jet out and your enemy has 2 jets out, then you're going to lose, basically. So don't do that. And now he's free to just kill all these helicopters, so... Really good airplay from Blue, I think. Managing to win air superiority with inferior, more costly fighters. And he's only got 2 of the good ones. Right, because this is the bad one, which is even worse. Yeah, this is the good one. And then this one has like 20% ECM and way worse everything for 10 points less than a MiG. Might be 20. Jaguar HE's back up. This is a very cost-effective plane. Well, it's a very effective plane. Yeah. So it doesn't dive as much as the British ones do, but it is pretty decent. Oh, it's got 20% ECM, it reloads in 2 minutes. Anyway, so the MiG-29 finally catches out of Mirage, and there we go. Starting to win the air war now. This thing fired its rounds, and then... Oh, so he sold the transport. Right, well, you got to keep the transport with it, really. But yeah, this, like... Okay. You want it facing the enemy, right? They both get out, it seems. And we see some mortars out. Mortars from... Where is that? Oh, there it is. So it can be useful in these situations against an entrenched opponent. Like, there you go, it actually did something. They're not that great, really, but if your enemy isn't moving for, like, minutes at a time because of, you know, because of where they're fighting over, then... Yeah, it's a good saturation tool. Mainly it's for the smoke, because you can smoke here, which stops the... Like, the enemy should have a T-55 here shooting down there. You should have an ATGM here shooting down there. You should have an ATGM here shooting across here. And so you smoke this off, and you smoke this off, and then you can run in, right? Or you smoke this off and then come down here and clear this out. He's got some units here to make sure that doesn't happen, which is good. Anyway, so it looks like Red's going to be coming for... Fedor instead of the town. I suppose, I mean, so the Fedor is closer, and also the Blue is obviously very good in the town. Blue, who's really against selling his transports. So he's got all these transports here, like all this money just on the field. It all keeps dying as well, so they're a little bit more. But yeah, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. How much is this? 55, so we could have got 2 of those and change. He sold all these. So there you go. I mean, this thing's pretty good. The main way to use it is you buy all 4, but it's a big investment. And yeah, like the coffin launchers, I'm pretty sure he lost his second coffin launcher. I'm not entirely sure. If not, there should be a coffin launcher here, and then you just coffin launch this constantly coffin launch all this. And once you take this, you put it here, and then you start coffin launching all this. Great methodical way to clear out the town. And yeah, so another transport going down there, just money just being left on the table. And yeah, I really do think that Red should have built up here for a while. You just like get everything ready, literally everything. Bunch of infantry, bunch of AA. You don't buy it all at once. You buy like a couple of this, couple here, couple of this, couple here, right? And you just slowly build it up over the course of 10 minutes or whatever. And then you fling a recon helo in. There's nobody there. Send them all in. And if it turns out there is a load of people there, then you can just repath them somewhere else, or you can try it anyway, depending on what's there, right? There we go, Pion, pretty useful. This is, you know, this is something that Blue just doesn't have access to, this sort of late game artillery. Sadly, it's got a 2 salvo length, unlike all the other artillery of the same class, which has a 3 salvo length, which means that its DPS is 1/3 less, and it costs like 10 points less for 1/3 less DPS. But hey, what can I say? Maybe one day, you know, if we get enough generous channel joiners, maybe I'll become a successful game developer and I can make a game and it will be perfect in every way. I definitely won't just have different problems. So yeah, this is another great thing you can do. You can just get a helo back here, pump a load of rockets into him, and then just come back and refuel, come back. Obviously, the resupply isn't here. The main issue you got to watch out for is jets just diving you, and the way you fix that is by having fighters up and so on. Which, okay, great. So he's sorted that out now. So he did lose his fighter there, so that's not so great. Gets the CV, which is good stuff. I guess he could see it because of this. So this isn't a good spot actually. He does lose the plane. Could have used the Pion, you know, but. Or he could have sent a seaplane out ahead, even though it wouldn't hit anything. The main thing is that it's got higher ECM, and you don't need it for anything other than soaking rounds, so if it dies, it doesn't matter too much. But yeah, you can tell Blue's starting to run out of stuff here. As we know from his deck review, he doesn't... I mean, you gotta watch your fighters, man. You can't just keep flying over the enemy AA and dying. It's just not conducive to one's health. So yeah, these are going down to the quite a lot of Strellas now. I do believe that the Strela should be the other one in the transport with the ZU on it and the Strela, just so you can build up that mass a lot faster. But yeah, Red's on the Ascendant now. Blue takes out the CV though, so he's got no CVs of his own here. I'm not sure if he's actually got any CVs left. If he doesn't have any infantry ones, he might just be out of CVs at this point. We've seen a lot die. And then, yeah, this needs to evac. Don't just fly over the enemy and get shot. That's why whenever you see me play, I always click back here loads. Shift click, shift click, shift click. Because if you just leave them to do their own thing, they just fly into the middle of the map and die. Which is obviously retarded, but the developers have better things to do than fix the game. They need to, you know, make another reservist division. That's much more important than fixing basic game features, like the fact that when you attack with a unit, it leaves the building to attack. Oh dear. And it'll always like close range. It won't just stop and attack. It's really something actually. But you know, basic features like that, they don't sell copies, so they don't get fixed. Anyway, so he's moved up to here now, which means he's intercepting people on this road. It's good, but you need an AA with it really, because he should send a couple Gazelle cannons over here, or just a recon and then a plane. So you need a bit of AA with it, but I think he might have wasted all his Gazelle cannons, I'm not entirely sure. And yeah, Red, he started to push out. The thing is, right, so he's over 700 points behind on Black Forest, so he really needs to get a move on or he's just going to lose the game on time. Because Black Forest only has +1. Well, okay, this is a +2, but getting in there is kind of a ball ache, right? Same with Dimitri. So it tends to be, you know, he might take these two, then he'll be on a +2, which is what, 8 times by 2, no, 8 times by 60 is what? 480. Mike, times tables are not great. 8 times by 60, yeah, 480. And then times by 2 would be 960. So if he takes both of these right now... Okay, if he takes one of these right now, he would win. Because that would be a +2, and then that would be a +4, right? If he fully takes them. So it looks like Red's making his play here. Yeah, typically the way you win this zone is by owning these sides. Because like, if Blue's got somebody here, an ATGM, obviously you're not getting in for any great length of time unless you start smoking and all this funny business. Which, you know, is fine enough, but then, you know, then if Blue has this, then he can come to here and he should be seeing that smoke mortar, or he can, you know, shoot them before they even get into the smoke, and so on. And if he's got this position, then he's in a better place to run from here into the smoke and shoot them as well. So, yeah, it's all about this. So if Red wants to own this, owning this is great, and then you just move up through here. And once you get to here, you can do something very, very similar. Shoot them, shoot the reinforcements, and then come into the zone. Red's already got sort of fairly easy route into Fedor because of this and the smoke bridge, and the fact that you get, once you've taken this, you just put guys here, and then you basically see them coming in. So yeah, the fact that Blue can get into Boris at the start, is it Boris? Yeah, is actually offset by the fact that later in the game, if Red can push him out, he can actually take Fedor much more easily than Center can be taken. But I do need to practice taking Center more. I just never do it. I just never bother. And like this map is the map I have the highest win rate on. There we go. Mirage 2000 finally goes down. It was a so-called AA that got it, so wow, maybe they are useful, but just think the opportunity cost of that unit is too high. So, yeah, ATGM's just looking down the main road. He needs to really get some CVs up, and he needs some smoke, right? He's got this, he can smoke. Because that Jaguar AT is just going to kill him if he... You see, that's just been wasted on a 55-point unit, so... Not going to be seeing him for a little bit. He's got the HE one, though. I guess he's just using them whenever they're off cooldown, which is fair enough, but if you know your enemy's about to get a CV into this zone, which is clearly the plan, you should be saving up your planes for a big bombing wave to deal with that. So 10 minutes left. Red's really on the clock here. I mean, there's no. I'm pretty sure Blue's ran out of CVs. I'm pretty sure he had 2 CV cards, and so he had 5 CVs. And I'm pretty sure he's just lost them all running into Boris because I don't see any. So I assume they don't exist. Oh, there's one. Okay, so he's still got. He's still got. That might be his final CV actually. So there we go. There's the smoke that we spoke about, and if this is resupplied, it can just constantly keep that up. And the smoke will never fully fade if it's like perfectly resupplied and so on. And okay, so that actually makes it out, and that goes down. So there you go. I think Blue's out of fighters now. I've seen he might have 1 left because he only had 4 in his deck, which you'll know from the deck review, which you didn't skip. And you can see he's trying to see this. Well, he can't see it because of the smoke. And now he's just going to lazily circle over all the AA and get himself wounded so he can't be useful for the next few minutes. And there he goes. Oh, he might die even. No, he makes it out. So, yeah, I think Red needs another zone at this point because it took him 4 minutes to get in there. So I think Red needs another zone. And Blue just needs to, like, smoke this and... Well, to be honest, these would run in, so he needs to do something about these first. Looks like, yeah, Blue just really... He's turned off auto sell on his transports, and so he's just constantly losing money to just not selling any of his transports. And it's not like he's using them for anything, so... Just like so much of this game, going from, like... Oh, I should do a guide, really. Just can't be bothered. Basically, you know, spending your income and not making mistakes like that, and just like really easy wins that a surprisingly large segment of the population just don't do. Anyway, the smoke faded here, and he didn't reload these, so yeah, I mean, he can just sort of run away, I suppose. But this is coming in. It's just Blue needs to kill these guys, and he's not really got anything for that. And yeah, Blue's lack of infantry is really starting to show. I mean, he's actually still got infantry, but his infantry tab just didn't have a whole lot in it, and so he's really running out here. So Call goes down. I mean, basically the advantage of those is that they can survive a manpad hit. So as soon as they take 1 HP loss, you need to heal them up so that next time they'll survive again. Otherwise, they're just gonna die. But with 7 minutes left and only 2 cards of supply with the pions and these rocket things, he's probably not got a whole lot of supply. But I haven't actually seen him buy that much, so... Anyway, Blue trying to sort this out, but Red, he switched it up, he's coming in over here now, which it makes a lot of sense, and you see how he's... Right, so he's actually manually selling them whenever he remembers, which isn't working out, right? So then, okay, so then you can... like, don't just let this go that way, because it's going to get capped again. So you grab it and you shift-click over here, and then do shift-L, and then it'll sell. But instead, he's just... I mean, he's dead now, so... Not fantastic. Minstrel's engaging. And yeah, the planes just keep getting... oh, here we go. So it's a pretty cool attack. I mean, it doesn't always kill him, right? But look, I mean, he's clearly not very useful anymore. Topaz 2A. And, okay, there goes his... So he did have 1 more, and now he doesn't. And yeah, so he's sending out the seed. Like, really, the seed should have been bought a lot earlier, because even if he doesn't have anything radar capable, the idea is that it soaks shots for your bombers, and therefore your bombers live longer. And yeah, that's the power of the Topaz there. I mean, if it was in a truck, it still would have died, but just don't see the advantage of this thing. It's not even a medium. It's not even a heavy machine gun, right? So sappers should beat chasseurs, but they got to get in satchel range. Right? You'll see that even though these are right next to each other, it's not actually in satchel range because it's done off this building. So he's got to right click on this building basically. He'll win anyway because there's just more of him. Higher vet as well. So Jaguar HE coming back round, and it's +4 now to Red. So Blue, he's got a CV, right? So he needs to get the CV in here, and but then he he needs to sort this out as well. So 5 minutes left. Yeah, pretty decent turnaround from Red, and yeah, a bit of a rocky start, but he's making it work. I like having this here. I think this is smart. Yeah, like he's got enough here to just come and kill this. I do like the usage of the guns, but he should really be trying to focus down the AA because he keeps losing stuff to the AA. Like, this should be evac. Sapper's Flam deployed here. 2 vet. Should win that fight, really. That's more smoke there so that he can get the infantry CV in. Oh, okay, the tank one again. So yeah, it's really cool, these. I really like them. But you got to keep the transport with them and move them or they get counter-batteried. Obviously, his opponent is not doing that. Or he doesn't really have the capacity to do so with 81mm mortars. It's not really going to do anything. It's not really got the range. So, yeah, I mean, +3 now with 4 minutes left. There's that 1 CV left for blue. And he's got to get that back in here. So he's sent these forwards now, but there's actually a bunch of infantry in here waiting for him. Such as this super useful DMR unit. And yeah, even if he sees them, you know, this won't get its own LOS on that. So, and he's not. If he'd evac this, right, he would have had his bombs back by now. He might have been able to do something here. But I mean, there are 2 of them, and so Shasta's paras, if they might get him. But yeah, it's not got its bombs, so. Bit of panicking going on here, right? He's still got time. It's just he's... Okay, so the tank goes down. And now if this had its bombs, that he could kill that, but it doesn't. And now they're just getting evac'd by AA. There's enough Strellas now. And down it goes. Now it's max range. Max vet, sorry. So he's trying to get this in. And he's got mortars, right? He's got mortars. He switched the weapon off for some reason. But if he'd smoked that, that'd be in there, right? And he could have slowed the tick down, although at this point he would need to deal with this, which he can't really do because he doesn't have enough infantry. So he calls the surrender. So yeah, GG, really interesting game. So this is diWarno, rank 363 with 222 games this season. Not that many total games though. And Maruke, rank 176 with 281 games this season. And a 9. Whoa! This guy needs to watch more Hippie videos. What's going on there? Should be a lot more capable with that many games. That's what happens when you don't watch. Look, he's being beaten by somebody with a third his games, right? Or half. 2.5 times. Anyway, so I'm not sure how that happened, but do let me know what you think. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully you learned something. GG.